Day 22 of reading through the scriptures. We're going to start in Genesis chapter 22. And it came to be after these events that Elohim tried Abraham and said to him, Abraham! And he said, Here I am. And he said, Take your son now, your only son Yitzchak, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah, and offer him there as an ascending offering on one of the mountains which I command you. And Abraham rose early in the morning, and saddled his donkey, and took two of his young men with him, and Yitzchak his son, and he split the wood for the ascending offering, and arose and went to the place which Elohim had commanded him. And on the third day Abraham lifted his eyes and saw the place from a distance. So Abraham said to his young men, Stay here with the donkey while the boy and I go over there and worship and come back to you. And Abraham took the wood of the ascending offering and laid it on Yitzchak his son, and he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and the two of them went together. And Yitzchak spoke to Abraham his father and said, My father. And he said, Here I am, my son. And he said, See the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for an ascending offering? And Abraham said, My son, Elohim does provide for himself the lamb for an ascending offering. And the two of them went together. But they came to the place which Elohim had commanded him, and Abraham built a slaughter place there and placed the wood in order. And he bound Yitzchak his son and laid him on the slaughter place upon the wood. And Abraham stretched out his hand and took the knife to slay his son. But the messenger of Yahweh called to him from the heavens and said, Abraham, Abraham! And he said, Here I am. And he said, Do not lay your hand on the boy, nor touch him, for I know that you fear Elohim. For now I know that you fear Elohim, seeing you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me. And Abraham lifted his eyes and looked, and saw behind him a ram caught in a bush by its horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered it up for an ascending offering instead of his son. And Abraham called the name of the place Yahweh Yireh, as it is said to this day, On the mountain Yahweh provides. And the messenger of Yahweh called to Abraham a second time from the heavens, and said, By myself I have sworn, declares Yahweh, because you have done this, and have not withheld your son, your only son, that I shall certainly bless you, and I shall certainly increase your seed as the stars of the heavens, and as the sand which is on the seashore, and let your seed possess the gate of their enemies. And in your seed all the nations of the earth shall be blessed, because you have obeyed my voice. Then Abraham returned to his young men, and they rode up and went together to Beersheba. And Abraham dwelt at Beersheba. And it came to be after these events that it was reported to Abraham, saying, See, Milcah has borne children to your brother Nahor. Utz his firstborn, and Buz his brother, and Kemuel the father of Aram, and Chesed, and Chazo, and Pildash, and Yidlaf, and Bethuel. And Bethuel brought forth Rivkah. These 8 Milcah bore to Nahor, Abraham's brother. And his concubine, whose name was Reumah, also bore Teba, and Gaham, and Techash, and Maacah. Okay, Isaiah chapter 22. The message concerning the valley of vision. What troubles you now that you have gone up to the housetops, you who are filled with turmoils, a noisy city, a city of revelry? Your slain are not slain with the sword, nor the dead in battle. All your rulers have fled together, without a bow they were taken captive. All who are found in you are bound together, who have fled from afar. Therefore I said, Look away from me, let me weep bitterly. Do not try to comfort me, because of the ravaging of the daughter of my people. For it is a day of uproar and treading down and perplexity by the Master Yahweh of hosts in the valley of vision, breaking down of a wall and of crying in the mountain. And Elam bore the quiver with chariots of men and horsemen, and Kir bared the shield. And it shall be that your choicest valleys shall be filled with chariots, and the horsemen shall take up positions at the gate. Then he removed the covering of Yehudah, and you looked in that day to the weapons of the house of the forest. And you saw the breaches of the city of David, that it was great, and you gathered together the waters of the lower pool. And you counted the houses of Jerusalem and the houses you broke down to strengthen the wall. And you dug a ditch between the two walls for the water of the old pool. But you have not looked to its maker, nor have you seen him who fashioned it long ago. And in that day the Master Yahweh of hosts called for weeping and for mourning, for baldness and for girding with sackcloth. Then see, joy and gladness, killing oxen and slaying sheep, eating meat and drinking wine. Let us eat and drink, for tomorrow we die. And it was revealed in my hearing by Yahweh of hosts, for this crookedness shall certainly not be pardoned until you die. Said the Master Yahweh of hosts. Thus said the Master Yahweh of hosts, Go, come to the steward, to Shebna, who is over the house, and say, What have you here, and whom have you here, that you have hewn a burial site here, as he who hews himself a burial site on high, inscribing a resting place for himself in a rock? See, Yahweh is hurling you away, O man, and is firmly grasping you, rolling you up tightly like a ball into a wide land. There you are to die, and there your esteemed chariots are to be the shame of your master's house. And I shall drive you from your office, and you shall be ousted from your position. And it shall be in that day that I shall call my servant Eliakim, son of Hilkiah, and I shall put your robe on him, and strengthen him with your girdle, and give your authority into his hand. And he shall be a father to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and to the house of Yehudah. And I shall place the key of the house of David on his shoulder, and he shall open and no one shuts, and he shall shut and no one opens. And I shall fasten him like a peg in a steadfast place, and he shall become a throne of esteem to his father's house. And they shall hang on him all the weight of his father's house, the offspring and the offshoots, all vessels of small quantity, from the cups to all the jars. In that day, declares Yahweh of hosts, the peg that is fastened in the steadfast place shall be removed and be cut down and fall, and the burden that was on it shall be cut off, for Yahweh has spoken. Our next chapter is going to be Psalms 22. Mael, Mael, why have you forsaken me? Far from saving ye, far from the words of my groaning. O my Elohim, I call by day, but you do not answer, and by night, but I find no rest. Yet you are set apart, enthroned on the praises of Yisrael. Our fathers trusted in you, they trusted and you delivered them. They cried to you and were delivered. They trusted in you and were not ashamed. But I am a worm and no man, a reproach of men and despised by the people. All those who see me mock me. They shoot out the lip, they shake the head, saying, He trusted in Yahweh, let him rescue him. Let him deliver him, seeing he is delighted in him. For you are the one who took me out of the womb, causing me to trust while on my mother's breasts. I was cast upon you from birth. From my mother's belly you have been my El. Do not be far from me, for distress is near, for there is none to help. Many bulls have surrounded me, strong ones of Bashan have encircled me. They have opened their mouths against me as a raging and roaring lion.
I have been
poured.
I have been poured out like water, and all my bones have been spread apart. My heart has become like wax. It has melted in the midst of my inward parts. My strength is dead, like dried like a
potsherd.
Potsherd.
That's a piece of a pot.
Okay. And my
tongue
is cleaving to my jaw and to the dust of death. Yeah. You are appointing me, for dogs have surrounded me. A crowd of evil ones have encircled me, piercing my hands and feet. I count all my bones. They look they
Stare.
at me. They
Divide.
my garments among them, and for my
Raiment.
raiment they cast lots. But you, O Yahweh, do not be far
Off.
O my strength,
Hasten.
hasten to help me. Deliver my life from the sword, my only life from the power of the dog. Save me from the mouth of lion, and from the horns of wild beasts. You have answered me. I make known my name.
Your name.
To my brothers in the midst of the assembly of. I praise you.
All right, can I read?
Yeah, sorry.
You who fear Yahweh, praise him. All you seed of Yaakov, esteem him. And fear him, all you seed of Yisrael. For he has not despised, nor hated the affliction of the afflicted, nor has he hidden his face from him. But when he cried to him, he heard. From you is my praise in the great assembly. I pay my vows before those who fear him. The meek ones do eat and satisfied. Let those who seek him praise Yahweh. Let your heart live forever. Let all the ends of the earth remember and turn to Yahweh. And all the clans of the nations bow themselves before you. For the reign belongs to Yahweh, and he is ruling over the nations. All the fat ones of the earth shall eat and bow themselves. All who go down to the dust bow before him. Even he who does not keep alive his own life. A seed shall serve him. It is declared of Yahweh to the coming generation. They shall come and declare his righteousness to a people yet unborn. For he shall do it. Alright, if you didn't understand, that was my daughter reading for a few verses there. She's about 10. Okay, and the last chapter is Matthew chapter 22. And Yeshua responded and spoke to them again by parables and said, The reign of heavens is like a man, a sovereign, who made a wedding feast for his son, and sent out his servants to call those who were invited to the wedding feast, but they would not come. Again he sent out other servants, saying, Say to those who are invited, See, I have prepared my dinner, my ox and fattened cattle are slaughtered, and all is ready. Come to the wedding feast. But they disregarded it and went their way, this one to his field, and that one to his trade. And the rest, having seized his servants, insulted and killed them. But when the sovereign heard, he was wroth, and sent out his soldiers, destroyed those murderers, and set the city on fire. Then he said to his servants, The wedding feast indeed is ready, but those who were invited were not worthy. Therefore go into the street corners, and as many as you find, invite to the wedding feast. And those servants who went out into the street corners and gathered all whom they found, both wicked and good, and the wedding hall was filled with guests. And when the sovereign came in to view the guests, he saw there a man who had not put on the wedding garment. And he said to him, Friend, how did you come in here and not having a wedding garment? And he was speechless. Then the sovereign said to the servants, Bind him hand and foot, take him away, and throw him out into the outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. For many are called, but few are chosen. Then the Pharisees went and plotted how to trap him in his words. And they sent to him their taught ones with the Herodians, saying, Teacher, we know that you are true, and teach the way of Elohim in truth, and it does not concern you about anyone, for you are not partial to any man. Then say to us, what do you think? Is it right to pay taxes to Caesar or not? But knowing their wickedness, Yeshua said, Why do you try me, you hypocrites? Show me the coin of the tax. And they brought him a denarius. And he said to them, Whose likeness and inscription is this? And they said to him, Caesar's. And he said to them, Then give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to Elohim what is Elohim's. And having heard, they marveled, and left him, and went away. And on that day Sadducees who say there is no resurrection came to him and asked him, saying, Teacher, Moshe said that if anyone should die, having no children, his brother shall marry his wife, and raise offspring for his brother. And there were with us 7 brothers, and the first died after he had married, and having no children, he left his wife to his brother. In the same way the second also, and the third, on to the 7th. And last of all, the woman died too. And at the resurrection then, whose wife of the 7 shall she be? For all had her. And Yeshua answering said to them, You go astray, not knowing the Scriptures, nor the power of Elohim. For in the resurrection they do not marry, nor are they given in marriage, but are as messengers of Elohim in heaven. And concerning the resurrection of the dead, have you not read what was spoken to you by Elohim, saying, I am the Elohim of Abraham, and the Elohim of Yitzhak, and the Elohim of Yaakov? Elohim is not the Elohim of the dead, but of the living. And when the crowds heard, they were astonished at his teaching. But the Pharisees, having heard that he had silenced the Sadducees, were gathered together. And one of them, one learned in the Torah, did question him, trying him, and saying, Teacher, which is the great command of the Torah? And Yeshua said to him, You shall love Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart, and with all your being, and with all your mind. This is the first and great command. And the second is like it, You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these 2 commands hang all the Torah and the prophets. And when the Pharisees were gathered together, Yeshua asked them, saying, What do you think concerning the Messiah? Whose son is he? They said to him, The son of David. And he said to them, Then how does David in the Spirit call him Master, saying, Yahweh said to my Master, Sit at my right hand until I make your enemies a footstool of your feet. If then David calls him Master, how is he his son? And no one was able to answer him a word. And from that day on, no one was bold enough to ask any more questions. Alright, so I wanted to talk about this a little bit. What was it I wanted to talk about? The tax. Yes. So, it says that the coin for the tax, the denarius, had Caesar's face on it, or likeness and inscription. And so what has Elohim's likeness on it in our life? And that's really the people. We were made in the image of Elohim, of Yahweh. And so what he's saying, I believe, is that we give ourselves to Yahweh, and our money can go wherever. If a taxing government says they deserve some of the money, it's their money originally, so they get it. But we ourselves go to him. So don't give yourself to the government, is what I think this is trying to say. Tell me in the comments if you disagree. And what else? Greatest command. I'd love to hear comments about that. But I'm going to go back to the Psalms passage we read, or try to. I didn't leave my marker in there, so that might be interesting. Alright. I'm really bad at finding spots. There's 22. So, Mael, Mael, why have you forsaken me? On the cross, our Messiah quoted this passage, and several other parts of this chapter, Psalm 22, seem to be talking about the crucifixion as well. So, tell me in the comments if you got anything to say about that. Anyway, thank you, and we'll try to put tomorrow's video up on here after each day we're putting these up. It takes us a week or two usually to get the end screens on so you can see the next video, but you'll probably be watching it after that. Thank you. Have a nice day.